know what it costs. Yeah, I hit the ground and it go off. Yeah, hit the ground and it go off. Yeah, run it. Ooh, I really feel it's my time, think it's my year. Yeah.
Morning, everybody. Welcome to the morning show. This is Stock Market TV. A lot going on today. Larry Thompson is our guest. He brought some fun charts. Looking forward to that as well. JC's got some charts. Steve's got some charts. They have thoughts. They have opinions. So do you. So smash the like and let's go.
Hey now. Mr. Steve Strazza. Good to see you, buddy.
Good morning.
Oh, is it a good morning? It's a good morning for who, you think?
It's a good morning to scoop and get some, just like Joe was saying.
Who's Joe?
Joe Gallagher.
Oh, Joe Gallagher. What up, Joe? Good morning. Good morning, sunshine.
It's a good morning for people who matter, right, JC?
Most people don't matter, though. So, I mean, that's just math. So quiet morning here with the Dow futures at look at this. I don't remember the last time I saw Dow futures, S&P futures, and NASDAQ futures all at 0.00. Look at that. 0.00. When I don't remember ever seeing that. Can we take a screenshot of this? Hold on.
It is weird, huh?
The Russell's at down 0.01.
Wow. Look at that. I just took a screenshot because I don't know that I've ever seen that before. Oh, no. Snipping tool didn't work. I missed it. Oh, what a bummer.
Too bad. Dude,
when was the last time you saw market futures an hour before the open? Because, right, at 0.00. Unch for the session. How about that? That's kind of interesting for like nerds, you know? So anyway, not much going on today. Bonds up a little, gold up a little, silver flat, copper and oil up a little. That's an interesting theme that we're seeing. Commodities, Strazza and I were talking about that yesterday. Dollar inching slightly lower. Not much. Quiet morning here, little Wednesday hump day. You know, when we go to the zoo, when you get to the camels, it's not just me. Like I'm a child and I do that, but like other people are walking by the camels going, hump day. What day is it today? So I'm not the only weirdo.
I do it too.
See? Who doesn't love a good camel? At the Cape May Zoo, they got the camel with the double humps and the single humps. Very diversified group of camels there in the Cape May Zoo.
Huh.
Fun fact. No? All right. What do you say?
Right.
What do we say we talk about the markets, eh?
Yeah, let's do that. That's the wrong video. What am I doing?
Come on. What is this? I heard we're getting an ETF today, or a dozen of them.
Don't even get Steve started about that.
Do I have that right? The SEC said, listen to us. Don't listen to things on the internet. You need to listen to us. They told us yesterday, so we listened and said, all right, Mr. SEC, we're going to listen to you. So yesterday on the old Twitters, the SEC tells us that they approved the ETF. And then it turns out they claim that they were hacked. I don't know if I buy that.
And it took them like 30 minutes to remove
the
incorrect.
I don't think that was a hack. I think someone screwed up somewhere, or maybe they changed their minds. I don't know. Smells fishy.
A lot of times they're internal hacks, stuff like this.
Yeah.
Right. It's like the employee who runs the social media account. Who knows?
We do have a statement. We have a statement from X about what they think happened.
Oh, and what do they think happened?
So Elon Musk is going to come out and speak on behalf of the SEC now. This is interesting.
Elon Musk says the tweet was a fugazi.
Just in case anyone was concerned, this hack was not the result of anyone gaining unauthorized access to X's systems. Okay, this is basically put the blame all on the SEC. What X said happened was that someone had the SEC first off didn't have two-party authentication turned on for their account, and so there was a phone number tied to the SEC Twitter account apparently that someone got access to through the phone number. So that is how it.
So if a government agency as important as the SEC, if they can't, have a Twitter account and use it in a safe, secured way, maybe they shouldn't have a Twitter account at all.
I mean, I had the first thought as many people in the chat, which is obviously they put this tweet out 24 hours early, 48 hours early, whatever.
It was a scheduling error. They used
Hootsuite,
Hootsuite, right?
That could be it too. I mean, so the bottom line here is that we just continue to, be so right about all of this because we've been saying this is noise, ignore it. This is not a game that you want to play with all this, ETF approval news. And what a perfect example yesterday's shit show was. Just stay away from it. And then be ready, right? Because when they're done with the spot Bitcoin ETFs, Ethereum will be next, and then probably Solana, and so on and so forth.
You think?
When do people stop obsessing over the approvals? I don't know, but eventually it should fall to the background. Yeah, why wouldn't that be just kind of like the natural progression of things? They do Bitcoin first, and they're going to hit Ethereum, and they're going to hit the others. As long as Bitcoin's successful.
This is all above my pay grade.
I think we have a table of where things stand as far as the.
Hold on, not ready for that. We're not ready for that table.
We're not ready for that.
We're not ready for that, Spencer. I don't know why you think we'd be ready for that, something like that.
So people, the idea out here on the Twitter,
for those in the
elsewhere,
arena,
yeah, is that they are somehow going to be able to game or front run this approval news, right? And that Bitcoin is the trade to make. I don't know if that's going to be the case or not. I know, JC, you're very interested in the ETH Bitcoin relationship. I'm interested in two other. Well, why don't we just dumb this down a little bit and focus on who really wins here? Who's really winning?
Who will win. Why don't we talk about who's winning right now? What is happening during these shenanigans coming from these Fugazi tweets? Who's winning? Let's see. Why don't you throw up there that slide 2 there, Mr. Israel? 10%.
That's winning?
10%. Excuse me. Let me reiterate. 10% on the ETH BTC ratio. And may I remind you that when you look at the scope of the old shitcoin universe, these are the 2 lowest beta coins. So a 10% move, while in cryptocurrencies might not seem like a lot, I would argue in this particular relationship is a lot. No? Are you gonna get, am I gonna get some pushback here? Come on, give it to me.
Well, yeah, but what does this have to do with any of this ETF stuff? Nothing.
That's what I like about it. That's what I like about it, because it's not so like common sense. It's not so logical. Nobody's talking about it. Nobody's paying attention to it. Caleb Franson is. No surprise there. We're kind of generally on the same page. 10% move, reversal. From failed moves come fast moves in the opposite direction. All of those things. A whipsaw action. What do you call them? Scoop and get some. How you doing? Right?
So JC's Bitcoin ETF approval vehicle is ETH versus Bitcoin.
I really don't give a shit about the SEC or their approval system. Right?
I figured you wouldn't. You can't just play along. You can't just play along.
I'm not going to lie to the audience and tell them that I give a crap about these people and their irresponsible tweeting habits. I don't care. Why would I care? Do they care about me? They don't care about me. Why should I care about them? You know who I care about? I care about yours truly. That's who I care about. I care about what I'm going to be doing about this. And why don't you zoom out in the next chart there, Spencer Israel, so I can show you just how selfish I am. I'm so selfish that going into the end of the year when it was whipsaw hunting season, we were looking at this particular relationship saying, that's what I was doing. I was doing like that with my imaginary beard. I was going, do you do that, Spencer? Like when no one's looking, you just like rub your chin?
I do it when people are looking. I do it on the show, I think.
Wow. I like it. I like it. You should do more. You should do it more. It makes you look like sophisticated. If you have like a pipe or something, like, hey, you see,
I don't have a pipe, no.
All right, well, you should get a pipe. ETH BTC, we going into this, we were looking at this. It has nothing to do with the SEC or their approval or their tweeting habits. It has to do with an overextended trend in a low volume, low liquidity environment where momentum is diverging positively. And what do you know? During all these shenanigans yesterday, 10% reversal. Just saying. Just saying. No? All right, Strazza, give me your piece. Tell me why I'm so wrong.
No, I'm not too interested in this. I own them both. I'm going to continue to own them both. I'm not going to try to, play this ratio either. I think they're both just going to continue to go up on an absolute basis.
I don't necessarily think, for the record, I don't think, and I don't have this trade on, where you're literally long ETC, short BTC, right?
Right. That's crazy. You wouldn't want to.
I don't know if it's crazy. I think there's a place for that in someone's portfolio if that's what makes sense for me. For you and me, that's not what we're doing. But what does that speak to Ethereum on an absolute basis if you're getting reversals like this relative to the BTC?
I don't know. What's it mean?
You don't think that this would suggest strength for Ethereum on an absolute basis?
Oh, yeah, sure.
And aren't you long ETH?
Of course.
And so would it behoove you and your portfolio if ETH were to rise in price?
Yeah, I would like ETH to start outperforming.
Well, then my suspicion is that you do care about this ratio. I think you were misleading the audience and suggesting that you don't care. I think you do. I think you care very much.
I own a lot of cryptos. I believe that if ETH is outperforming Bitcoin, my other altcoins that I own are probably also outperforming.
I agree.
And
I couldn't agree more.
Would be good. Yes. If Bitcoin keeps outperforming, am I going to like rush and sell all these alts? No, if they keep looking good on an absolute basis, I'm not going to overthink it. Can we look at the chart of BlackRock now?
Sure.
Please.
The same BlackRock who
not to be confused with Blackstone. This is a rock, not a stone. They're two different things.
Same
I don't know the difference, but they are different.
3% layoffs.
I'm not gonna come on here and try to tell anybody that this new ETF is going to be at all material to BlackRock's business. Okay, probably not.
Not yet, anyway. Not at the start. I mean, one day maybe, but not yet. Right.
But again, it's not a bad thing, and all of this news is kind of just a healthy reminder of BlackRock's, just stance as a just clean and clear industry leader in this space. This is a perfect reversal pattern. This is a secular leader, one of the strongest stocks you're going to find in financials. Zoom all the way out. It's a great business, breaking out of a beautiful base. Got a little throwback, nice retest. Look at the way we came off the October lows, 25 straight days overbought. This one is in the top 15 in terms of overbought streaks from during the October to year-end rally. And now we're just nice and clean, coiling right on the upper bounds of that base. So perfect level to get long. If you like BlackRock, I think this could be a vehicle. How's that?
You don't think that's overthinking it?
Listen, I'm only talking about BlackRock because they're involved in all this news, and the chart looks great.
I really like the fact that no one's talking about the ETH BTC ratio. I really, really like that. Like the common sense, quote unquote, common sense trades. Like this isn't, this doesn't, they're not gonna be talking about the ETH BTC ratio on Good Morning America today, for example. You're not gonna see it in the USA Today. I like that. I like that.
There's another company that I know for a fact it will be material to their business. And they're
all right. Give the people what they want. It's mostly you who wants it, but you give it to them. Give it to them, Strazza.
Throw up the Coinbase.
Oh, talking his book.
Great
I
chart.
guess grayscale.
Drop a VWAP.
You have the deck. You know what's coming.
I know.
Drop a VWAP from those pivot highs. If you're looking for an entry, we like 160. But a trend like this, you just kind of want to find a good level to define your risk and get involved. Throw up the table now. Why am I saying that this news matters for Coinbase at all? They're going to be doing all the custody, so they're going to be making money off of all of this, right? They're going to be servicing the ETFs for these ETF providers, buying and selling Bitcoin, and kind of acting as the counterparty there for all of these asset managers. What do you think about that?
I try not to think about it.
This is real, though. This is material to their business.
All right.
You don't think so?
I don't really agree.
I mean, I guess I don't really know how profitable this business is for Coinbase or for anyone.
Well, you should check because it varies wildly. In the last crypto bull market, Coinbase was incredibly profitable, and then during the bear market, they were very unprofitable.
What I'm talking about,
and they're trying to
being a custodian of, like,
yeah. Well, we don't know yet,
right?
right? 'Cause
That
it hasn't
right.
happened.
That's what I'm saying. We don't know. So I don't
Reminds
know.
me of that half-baked scene early on. It's like, oh,
Spencer,
I'm a custodian, dick.
you think of all of the buying and selling that has to go behind running these funds. They're making
He's
fees.
a master of
every
the
single one of those
custodial
transactions.
arts.
So that's fine. You can sit there and say, "Oh, I got to see it first," but it's also just common sense, right? This is big business for Coinbase, buying and selling all day, servicing these ETFs.
We'll find out, I guess, next quarter. In when they tell us. Really? Right.
All right, let me know how that goes for you.
I'm just saying I'm not saying
Oh.
you don't know. I'm saying I don't know. So we'll find out.
Throw up slide 9, Spencer, the new slide 9. You know, when you hear custodian, I can't help but think of this scene from Half Baked. Am I crazy? Because I've seen this movie so many times. You know that scene where
Oh,
the
man, it's been a long time for me.
right? And then and then the doctor, the scientist goes up to him and he's like, "Oh, can you please right away? You go deliver this." And he delivers like the prescription for all the weed. And he's like, "Hey, scientist, why don't you clean up the rest of this shit then?" What a great movie. Oh, classic.
Anyway.
When I think custodian, like I know we're talking about like, you know, these massive financial companies, but I think Dave Chappelle, a young Dave Chappelle, master of the custodial arts.
Yeah. Question in here about Galaxy Digital. Yeah, BRPHF. I am personally long. We were talking about that a few weeks ago. The base still looks good. That's more of a play on the broader crypto space.
We had some questions on the old cybersecurity.
Yeah, look great.
Shall we? Why don't you throw up slide 10 here so you could see what's going on there with the old hack?
Yeah, it's great. Look at it on a relative
make a run
basis.
towards those new highs.
That looks interesting to me.
CrowdStrike looks so good.
Throw the
Zscaler
next
looks
one.
so
Look at-
good. Palo Alto Networks look
Throw
so
up,
good. I mean,
throw
so
Cloudflare.
so many of the Net has a great base. Look at that. So many of the individual components in this group. These are some of the better looking charts out
Did you
there
know
right now.
Cisco was a top 10 component?
Huh? No.
Yes.
It's not the vehicle I would use.
No, me neither. But to be fair, the hack is an equally weighted ETF. So, you know,
yeah.
based-
A couple questions. Yeah, a couple questions in the chat. Will Bitcoin pump? Please tell me. No, we have no idea. Nor do we care. Strazza, do you think the U.S. itself will
why do
defend
we not
Bitcoin?
care? I care.
Will Bitcoin pump? We have no idea. We don't think that way, right?
What would be
Because
the
we
what is the
don't-
definition of pump? Is that like mooning?
Right.
Is that the same thing? Pumping, mooning?
Again.
Are they synonyms?
And I don't understand. Do I think U.S. will defend coin based on national security? I don't know what that means.
Wait, can I ask a question about cyber? Why do you look at hack and not the largest cybersecurity ETF,
CIBR.
which is CIBR?
I like hack more.
CIBR has 6 billion in assets. Hack has 1.6 billion in assets. CIBR, this is the first trust NASDAQ cybersecurity, and it is more cap weighted. The holdings are very different. Cisco's a top 5 component here.
You get more of an equal weighting in the hack.
Not
They're all
much,
about,
though.
like,
I mean, you still have a lot of the
or-
usual suspects. You've got still in the top 10. You've got Fortinet. You still have Zscaler, Okta. You still have
It's more it's better represented. Look, there's Avago's almost 7%, CrowdStrike 6%, Infosys 6%.
Cisco's fourth
that's
largest.
cyber. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, no, I don't like that. We try to stay away from the cap weighted stuff because we're looking for information.
Yeah, we're not actually trading these ETFs.
Cyber's stronger.
like
I was
them,
actually charting. I was charting them against each other yesterday, and if you zoom way out, cyber is typically the stronger one. Why? You always see that The cap weighted one tends to be the outperformer over longer time frames. Why? Because the best players tend to score most of the points.
Yeah, well, the equally weighted S&P 500 is actually outperforming the cap weighted when you zoom out over time.
No, it's
yes,
not.
it is. You're gonna argue with me? RSP outperforming the SPY over the long term.
Don't see that.
All right. Well, maybe you should look harder. Maybe open your eyes.
I mean, not since like 2011.
Why don't you zoom out further?
All right. I'm not going back to 2003. I don't care what happened.
Fact sheet, right? If you go to RSP fact sheet.
All right, now do it for the NASDAQ. Do the triple Qs versus QQEW.
That's not what I said. That's not what I said. I'm specifically referring to the S&P 500 equally weighted ETF. One.
I can't explain that either.
All right, well, you don't have to explain it. It's just math. It's all good. We can still be friends.
I guess the difference between us is you guys bring up ETFs for information. I bring them up because I like buying them. So
yeah, we don't buy ETFs, right? Because we buy the best vehicles. Right. You're familiar with that now?
Well, we do.
I know, right?
I don't want to say we don't buy ETFs.
Time and a place for everything.
There's a time and a place for everything. A lot of our options trades, particularly when we're selling strangles, are in ETFs for risk management purposes. So, you know, there's time and a place.
If I buy an
ETF, time and a place.
I'm probably just not that good at my job if I have to buy an ETF. If I can't figure out what the best ones beneath the surface are, right?
January 8th of 2003. January 8th of 2003. In case you're wondering when the...
All right, so why don't we hit the news here? Boeing going on its latest apology tour. At what point does the government just say, guys, we've tried this so many times, and you just can't figure out how to make planes safely? And this is too important.
By the way, Boeing is sort of exhibit A of what happens when a company puts shareholder return above all else. The amount of money they've spent on buybacks versus R&D in the last decade is totally backwards.
You're really going to go there? Oh God. I don't know. It's too early for this, JC. What do you think?
I don't really want to go there. But what else are they going to say? We screwed up. Our bad. Obviously, right?
It must have been the buybacks.
That's why the planes. I didn't say it was that. I didn't say it was the buybacks.
Had to be the buybacks.
Anyway, even Wall Street agrees that it's a poorly run company. So
it's terrible.
And Wall Street's opinion is the only one that matters.
Well, they just continue to embarrass themselves. Like every couple of years, they're dealing with one of these things.
So the equally weighted S&P 500 is up 740% since 2003. The S&P 500 cap weighted is up only 665%. So it's actually not only outperforming, but it is dramatically outperforming.
All right, are you done? You're done.
I think it's interesting. No?
Yeah. Yeah, good. Atom up pre-market. I'm getting crypto alerts on my forum here now. Oh, Atomera. I was hoping it was the Cosmos, but there is no pre-market for cryptos. Silly me.
There is for crypto stocks. All right. Here, someone in the chat goes, we want Larry. Larry's going to come on in about 5 minutes. Before that, let's run through some.
What? And he brought some stats for JC.
Yeah, all right. Let's not spoil the fun yet. Some other news here, in addition to the SEC Bitcoin ETF hilarity and chaos, Lennar announced a pretty aggressive buyback and dividend plan. They are raising their annual dividend from $1.50 a share to $2 a share, and they authorize a $5 billion stock buyback. So Lennar trading up this morning on that. Oh, look at the chart. Oh, and also
33%, to hike your dividend in a year is, not nothing. Really impressive. So you look at that 1% yield, you might say, oh, it's small. Well, they're growing at 33% per annum. Pretty badass. It's a company that you want to own.
Also should mention we're approaching that time. KB Homes reports earnings tomorrow morning, I think. So you always want to watch the groups of stocks
already?
when their peers report. But yeah,
Oh wow, good point, Spencer. So they'll be first in the homie space tomorrow. KBH.
yeah.
Are you sure it's not today?
Whatever our calendar says. And let's see, what
Okay.
does the calendar say? Fine, okay.
And what was the additional authorization for the buyback program?
It's
5
5 billion. Yeah.
And this is the market cap on Lennar. I think it's the second biggest one. Not small. What, 40 billion? Yeah, 41. Ooh, I'm good. 41 billion. 5 billion in buybacks, more than 10% of the market cap.
Mm-hmm.
Good for these guys.
ISRG, Intuitive Surgical, gave some preliminary guidance last night that came in above estimates. This is guidance for the year and guidance for the quarter, the current quarter. So the stock was up on that. Actually, I think this came out like right at 4 o'clock because my ISRG chart shows a nice spike there at the close. Yeah. Pretty much flat overnight, but huge spike there at the close. So ISRG is at, that chart doesn't show it, but 346 right now.
It's good stock. What's going on with this Tapestry and whatchamacallit merger? They got Chinese approval. Is that a big deal? See that?
I've never heard of Chinese approval being a thing for anything.
Well, these luxury, what's Capri Holdings? They're like bags or something.
Oh man, I can't keep this stuff straight.
These luxury goods are very popular out in Asia.
Speaking of luxury goods, you see this long dicks, slide 2. You long dicks?
Yeah. So did you see what I put in the research channel yesterday? These guys really stood out. Ugly tape yesterday. Discount stores, though, and specialty retail stocks were green, looking really good. This is probably the strongest one in the whole group outside of maybe Costco.
Dude, I love dicks, man.
Okay. All right.
Seriously. Honestly, I got like a couple of them by me. Dude, anything you need. What do you need? You need camping shit? You need a baseball bat? You need a basketball hoop? What do you need? They got it. New golf clubs? No big deal. Some weights? Shoes? New kicks? Great spot, great place. I'm not a shopper.
I mean,
you guys know that. I do love dicks.
I mean, this chart really makes you want to be long dicks, not short dicks. Right?
Yeah. Not into the short dicks.
No, not at all. All right. What else?
I got one more. I don't think we got the chart for it, but I was wondering why is Chewy down on heavy pre-market volume. Now over 1 million shares traded this morning, down about 5.5%. Morgan Stanley is shopping a big block. Looks like 12.3 million share block.
Large block
in the
trade.
20.
Is that Ryan Cohen?
Yeah. I don't know. I have no idea.
Seriously.
12 million shares in the 20, call it the mid $20 range. So, and
they're doing it pre-market.
Yeah.
What is amateur hour? Who's doing that?
Word gets out.
Why would you do that pre-market, JC? Like, I don't know anything about execution trading, but why would anybody ever want to execute a block that big before the bell?
Maybe they know something.
They have to they're advertising. They're trying to find a buyer.
No, but there'll be plenty of liquidity to do that once the market opens.
I don't know.
Well, maybe they don't believe so.
$5 million. What's the average dollar volume on Chewy? $20 stock.
High.
What's the average volume?
Yeah, I mean, it's about 9 million shares, so not much. It's traded 1 million shares. You said already.
I thought. Wow.
You said it's traded 1 million shares.
Yeah, 12 million share block too. That's not nothing.
Dude, it trades $180 million a day.
He just
not much.
said 9 million shares. They're shopping a block of 12. That's more than a whole day's worth of volume.
Oh, 12 million shares?
That's what I said.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so that's going to take all day then. Wow. Okay.
Good thing I got the June calls.
Price. Go figure. All right. Should we bring on Larry Thompson?
I think we should.
All right.
I'll be right back.
Hit it.
Do it. I'm hitting it.
Yo!
Jay, we've been friends for a long time. Make the call.
I mean, this is pretty professional, guys.
Nice show you got going here.
You see what happens, Larry? Do you see what happens?
I did the homework. Don't you worry. Don't you worry.
I hear you got some stats for me. What is this? How come everybody knows where you're coming in hot with except me?
Later.
What do you
Yeah,
mean later?
I don't know what you're talking about. We'll talk about it later.
It is later.
Yeah,
Happy New Year, Larry. Good to see you, buddy.
Yeah, good to see you guys. Happy New Year.
What are you putting up these days on the bench?
Oh, I do dumbbell incline bench. I don't do a lot of flat bench, but I mean, probably 275.
275, pretty good.
Yeah. So
how many reps?
3 for 275, maybe.
All right, that's pretty good. And what are you deadlifting these days?
Oh, honestly, because of Phil, I've been working a lot more on my pull-ups and my deadlift, but I can probably pull 450. I could pull 500
on the deadlifts. Okay,
Yeah.
And then how many pull-ups you doing?
That's my weakness, man.
Me too. Yeah, me too.
Yeah. So I've been doing
3 in me though. I got 3.
Yeah, I've been doing a program. I've been doing 5 sets of 5, slow and controlled, and so I've been getting better every week. So it's good.
5 sets of 5. Wow.
Yeah. So
I got those bands, so I could do more. Like
yeah,
the cheating bands. I got those.
That's good. Just hanging too. Just doing dead hangs. Those are good. So, yeah, it's been good.
What about you, Spencer? How many pull-ups you got these days?
Not 5 sets of 5. I'll tell you that.
We'll take the under there.
I'm more of a get outside and jog slowly kind of guy.
Hey, do what you can. Do what you can.
So Larry, aside from the working out, what about the old market? We got no Santa. We got first 5 days down. Is the bull market canceled? That's it.
I'm going to tell people that so they sell me their stocks. But to be honest, I think we're just ungrateful, right? By human nature. We're just ungrateful for the beautiful market that we've had the past 18 months.
Well said. You
look at, you've had beautiful leadership. You've had bottoming processes. You can buy leadership now. You can also buy some beautiful bottoms. I don't know what there's to dislike, but I think it's just human nature that you become ungrateful of things. And then at the beginning of the year, you just want to look at all the old trends and just get rid of them. And you want new trends to exist when we might just have the old trends continue. So I'm incremental. I think Chris Verone was on here last week and he talked a lot about that. You just have to be incremental, not all or nothing. Same thing with the workout programs, right? Don't be out there trying to do too much too soon. Just incremental changes in the portfolio for me.
How fast you running a mile these days, Larry?
I'm not running miles, to be honest, but I don't know. I haven't ran a mile in a while. I do stair stepper in the morning. I row. I do the ski erg, but I'm not running too much. I'm trying to put on some weight, so I'm not out here running miles.
How old are you, Larry? How old are you?
28.
Wow, good for you, bro.
Yeah.
And then are you done with the CMT?
Done. So now, yeah, I just have to do the paperwork. So getting married in about 100 days. So that's not my priority, to be honest. There's another thing on the plate. So, but it's good. Life's good. Got an espresso machine recently. I've been obsessed with learning espresso. That's been my big hobby.
Yeah, you're getting into the coffee. That's good. There's worse things you could be getting into.
That's great.
For sure.
Yeah, I think coffee's the healthiest drug. Like of all the drugs, that's the healthiest one. Caffeine.
Well, nicotine. Some levels of nicotine actually, or not nicotine. Caffeine's good for you. Nicotine
that's what I'm saying. Coffee's the healthiest drug.
Yeah,
right?
Coffee's pretty good. I haven't dabbled in nicotine, but I know a lot of people like it. So, but caffeine.
I'm gonna go with the under on the nicotine. I don't think that's good for
likewise, JC. Let's bring on the charts.
Yeah, fake news. Fake news.
Oh, ask Perlman.
Perlman's gonna say that nicotine is good for you. I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure now.
That's okay.
Well.
All right, Larry. What do you got for us?
Yeah, so let's start with let's look at NY FANG versus SPX. So the thing I want to see here is everyone is talking about rotation, and you guys had a lot of great people on talk about breadth and talk about, healthcare, financials. I see the rotation under the surface. It's not rocket science to me to see those. The thing I would say that I've noticed from conversations with family members, from people in the market, is a lot of people are quick to get off the NY FANG train, which is okay. But when I look at this chart, it looks to some degree like it could just be getting started, right? And that to me is, JC, you talk about this all the time. I'm just asking the question, what if this is just getting started, right? I think there's a big push for equal weight this year, but I don't know, man.
Russo had a good tweet about this point yesterday. He said the same thing. I guess he was kind of thinking to himself, what are some of the most consensus calls this year? And it seems to be everybody's throwing out, the cap weight outperformance and shifting to this, broadening leadership theme. Doesn't have to happen. And a lot of these charts would suggest it might not.
Yep. Yeah, I think everyone will point to Apple, but I believe Microsoft's larger than Apple now. And you look on a relative basis, Microsoft could be taking it to a whole new extreme. And yeah, I'm not giving up on this yet, right? It doesn't, to me, if you're a trend follower, this trend hasn't broken down.
Fake news. Microsoft is not larger than Apple.
Not yet.
No, not
yet.
Close.
Zoom out on that relative chart. It looks pretty good.
I'm just saying, it's 100. What is it? It's like $100 billion away. No, not 100 billion.
By the end of this year, that'll be my hot take for the day. Microsoft's bigger than Apple.
We have the best chat, huh?
But yeah, that's my thoughts there on this. I just think, right, don't throw out the baby with the bathwater. There might be some pullback, but pullbacks happen. We just had a great rally. I mean, tech's been outperforming for months now. So,
have you been buying things?
Yes. So you can go to the next chart, Spencer, and kind of talk.
Come on, did you say tech's been outperforming for months?
For a year. Sorry, for a year. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
1 year.
Peaked 2 months ago, on a relative basis.
Yes, correct.
Chart police.
Just saying, I'm here. There's a lot of fake news being thrown out around here about nicotine.
Financials has been outperforming. I'm just not giving up on tech. That's a relative basis. You can look at XLK against that 185, 180 level. I'm not going to get out of it just yet. Some of the charts I am looking at that I've been purchasing, right? You have the leadership, and then I think you have these bases that could outperform this year, right? I mentioned I'm getting married. Pinterest is a chart to me.
Hey, now. What do you use Pinterest for the wedding? You get like some flower ideas or some shit? Like, what are you looking at?
You name it. Flowers, dresses. I'm getting bouquet options. I'm looking at food plates. I'm just my phone's getting blown up all day with Pinterest.
Word of advice. Ready? Here's a good one. Word of advice. No beer bottles, right? Everything in a glass. Because then in the pictures in the background, it looks like a frat party. No beer bottle, right? That's good advice, right? You see that?
I dig it.
Your friends at Pinterest won't tell you that one.
That's true. Yeah, I think this is a good setup. I have it compared here to the IPO index just because I think there's some proxies within there, and I like this setup above, I believe 35 it is. So yeah, I think Pinterest looks good.
Even if you chart it relative, I prefer to benchmark versus the strongest indexes. Chart against S&P or NASDAQ, it still looks great.
And
can we just get back to how many charts out there look like this?
Oh my gosh. You can look at the IPO index, look at ARK, look at DraftKings. I mean, the list goes on and on. I could have brought 200 charts today that look like this.
Well, maybe you should have.
How do you pick which ones to buy?
Risk reward, right? For me, risk reward and then some relative strength. So, right, that's what it boils down to me. I trade price at the end of the day. Relative strength is great, but I have to find a risk reward that fits what I'm doing. And so I don't like to day trade. So looking at the weekly chart and having some favorable risk reward here to the upside is kind of how I do it.
Do you adjust your charts for inflation? Because I'm told that that's what I have to do.
No comment. I don't even know what to say to those people. So
weirdos, right?
I don't even know what to say to them.
Some odd eggs.
What people?
The people that want you to adjust your charts for inflation.
Oh yeah.
I was fortunate to grow up with my grandparents, and ever since, I can remember, they've been talking about inflation being insane, and it's just something that I think you can take statistics however you want, which we'll see later. You can take statistics however you want and bend them to fit your narrative. So if that's what people want to do and they want to complain all day, that's on them.
Can we get to this uranium already?
Oh yeah. Yeah, so this CCJ chart is pretty insane to me. This is the monthly, so since 2004. And this base is just hard to ignore. There's a lot of bases out there that look like this. You can look in the healthcare space. I know that's been getting a lot of play recently. And there's just, if you zoom out to those monthly charts, you just see crazy, crazy bases. I am long CCJ. I've been long for a long time. So now I don't know what to do with it, but this is just pretty insane to see this base here.
So yesterday they all caught a nice ripper. I think there was some U.S. Department of Energy news. Let me see here. Did anybody else see what I'm talking about?
I don't read the news.
Yeah, it was a 4%. It was a 4.5% day yesterday, though. I like it against that 40 level, 41, 40 level on the daily. But
that September resistance turning into support.
Oh yes,
Yep.
Steve. I see what you're talking about.
We call that polarity.
Polarity. There we go.
SAT
So
word
US
of the
Energy,
day, polarity.
U.S. Energy Department solicits bids for domestic uranium enrichment.
Yep.
Like other countries in the developed world, big push for new nuclear plants and nuclear reactors now.
Yeah, I mean, if energy really is a problem, this is a viable solution from a lot of the energy experts in the world.
Clean energy.
Yep.
How about
It's
that?
been a beast, man. This whole space.
Yeah.
What's up with all these stats that I'm being told you're going to give me? Are we
We'll
there
get
yet?
in a sec. Can we look at Sprouts real quick?
Yes.
Yeah.
Let's look at Sprouts.
Why is everybody laughing? Everyone's in on the joke except me.
I'm not laughing.
I love me. Just wait for it. I love me a good farmer's market.
Yeah. So it's not. I brought some charts. The reason I chose these ones, there's stuff that's just relevant, right? So Pinterest, fiance bugging me all day about it, related to the wedding. Sprouts, there's one opening 2 miles from my house. So kind of like Peter Lynch, one up on Wall Street, but looking at the charts instead of looking at which is the fundamentals. But you can see here this Sprouts monthly chart. This is a base, baby. This looks like it's ready to go. I've been long since, I don't even know.
It's going right now, it looks like, huh?
And are these stores or something?
Yeah, these are grocery stores.
Grocery, yeah.
So
probably pays you a nice yield too, right?
So the grocery stores that they kind of try to compete with Whole Foods. They have more local produce, a little bit more expensive in terms of what they offer. But
I've never seen one, never been to one.
Yeah, they're growing slowly, right? The market cap of this company is not that large.
Where
It's
are
about
these?
$5
Where are
billion.
these people? They don't have them by me.
I think West Coast. They're based in Phoenix. I'm just guessing.
Yeah, so there's one that's just now opening in my area. But once
Where are
again,
you, South Carolina?
Yes. So yeah, Greenville area. So
what a beautiful base though.
Yeah,
There.
it's a great chart. So once again, monthly. So if your time frame's longer term, this might be something to keep there. And it's a $5 billion grocery store, which that could double and no one would blink, right? So
Based out of Arizona, huh? All right.
yeah, I like that chart.
Stop fact checking me.
Nobody's
What's
fact
Camtech?
checking you. The data's just in front of me. It's just interesting. It's from Arizona. It's kind of random.
JC, there's 2 in Pennsylvania actually.
Where?
Uh,
Pennsylvania is a big state. I try not to frequent most of it.
John likes it.
I don't know where.
Oh, Buc-ee's. Yeah, Buc-ee's gas stations. People love those.
A little different.
down there.
I think it's Bucci's.
No, it's Buc-ee's.
Buc-ee's?
Definitely.
All right.
Yeah. The next one's Camtech. Yeah, so Camtech is, I talked about this last time I was on, ticker CAMT.
Drescher.
Semi, right?
These, it is, but it's the picks and shovels of semis. So they deal with, development and inspection and the equipment related to semiconductors. But in general, these mid-cap industrial electrification of the grid companies are doing very well. I think if you
That's what this is.
you look at, you can look at Eaton, ETN, you can look at this one, you can look at LECO, LECO, Lincoln
Yeah,
Electric
but
Company.
these Israeli stocks, man, I got to tell you.
So I just think in general that everyone is focused on rates, which makes sense. But these industrials under the surface, I think there's a macro tailwind when it comes to how the government's going to spend money this year, right? And we're in an election year. The government's going to spend money. I think infrastructure is just a bipartisan issue that we've seen money spent in, right? The IRA Act had infrastructure spend. So it's just an area in general. I think those mid-cap electrification industrial companies just continue to do well. And I'm not selling strength here. Like I said, this is a $3.2 billion company. It could double and no one's really going to blink. So just another name.
It's a huge base, man, breaking out. This thing broke out of that base a couple of years ago, continues to make new highs. Absolute beast.
Yeah, I've stayed long and then just during this consolidation added a little bit here. But a lot of charts look like this. ETN, another company, other companies. SPXC looks like this. SPX Corp. So just a lot of strong companies in that area. But So
Israeli tech. I'm into it.
yeah. And then the last chart was just more related to some statistics for this upcoming weekend for the Chiefs versus Dolphins game. So I just kind of wanted JC's thoughts on just kind of Miami Dolphins only beating high school football teams. I'm a Chiefs fan for those unaware, but yeah, it's just pretty interesting. They haven't won a game when it's below 40 degrees. I haven't beat the Chiefs since 2011. 91 point differential against teams that are good in the NFL. So
I swear we didn't tell them to do this.
So
that's why they play the game, Larry. That's why they play the game, my friend.
It is.
What's the spread? What's the spread? Anybody know?
3.5. Chiefs.
That's
3.5. That's it.
That's surprising.
Yeah, they're probably.
Is it going to be cold? It's going to be cold, right?
It's going to be in the single digits, bro.
Yeah. Achan's good. I mean, Dolphins are good, right? This is more.
Oh, the whole team's hurt, so we got that.
Yeah.
Seems like that's the case every year, though. Come this time.
No, they just suck in prior years. This year, they're actually hurt.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
I was looking at a list of just the Dolphins seasons last night. A lot of resistance at 11 wins. They can't seem to break the 11 win threshold.
For the record, most teams can't do that, Spencer.
A lot, not since 1990. It's been 34 years now since they've broken 11 wins. So
it's really taken them a while
to
kind of absorb all that overhead supply up there.
Big base at 11 wins. Big resistance at 11 wins.
Is all this necessary?
Just teasing.
That's great, Larry. Good job. Good stuff.
Yeah.
All right, so you're buying Bitcoin on the heels of this ETF launch news, I'm sure, right?
I mean, I'm already long. I don't, to be honest, like I'm not like most of the people on Twitter that just have infinite money to add to every position every single day. Like I'm already long. I can't find money just to add, unfortunately. So that's kind of my position on it. But I think the news yesterday was just kind of funny, especially Elon Musk coming out and kind of saying what he said. It's just interesting. So.
What, like he's defending Twitter? He's like, "Yo, it was the SEC who screwed all this up. It wasn't us."
Yeah. I mean, and it also just, if you were to hack them, why wouldn't you say something like, "We're never going to approve the ETF," or something that's more that way, so that Bitcoin tanks, so that you can then buy it. I don't know.
Also true.
I think I would have. People aren't just after it to make a funny meme; they're after it for money. So they would have done something that would have been more lucrative than saying they were approved. So
yeah, that's fair. Good
also, eagle-eyed followers would point out that the SEC doesn't approve anything; they just don't reject it. That's the approval, is not rejecting it. They would never.
Okay, that's semantics. It's an approval, right? They might not use that word.
They would never use that word, right? Exactly. So,
it would be a non-denial,
right?
There we go.
Like Larry when he proposed, the wife, she didn't say no. Right?
Thank God.
Why don't they just come out and say, when we make the announcement, it won't be on Twitter?
Yeah, that's fair too.
I don't know.
Because why would it be? Right? There's got to be a better way to do it. Larry, let me give you a piece of advice. All right, buddy? Listen, this whole wedding thing you got going on, you don't matter. All right? It's all about her, right? Whatever she wants, just give it to her. You're nowhere near the total. That's like her, like, her family. Like, you're like way down on the list of importance. So just keep that in mind. It's not a big deal. Just let her have it. It's all about her.
Agreed.
That's good advice.
My other advice, Larry, for you is on the day of, drink water. Hydrate. You'll need it.
Bullshit.
Hydrate.
Get loaded. Have a good time.
Hydrate,
Don't listen to Spencer.
I'll do a little bit of both. Don't
listen to anything he's saying. That is dumb. That is terrible advice. Have a good time. Don't worry about it.
I will.
You don't need to remember anything. There'll be a video guy there. You can watch it a million times. So
follow me on Twitter.
Congratulations.
The handle is in the description at Hostile Charts. Larry, always a pleasure, sir.
Go Chiefs.
Happy New Year.
No.
We'll see you.
Later,
Adios. Don't drink.
I thought that was
water on
funny.
your wedding? What?
Dude, hydrate, man.
Hydrate?
Shoving drinks in my face. I would have died if I wasn't.
Well, some of us can handle it and some of us can't, right? So.
All right. Maybe that's it.
9:20. Market opens here in 10 minutes.
Do a little quick
Futures
little
move.
rundown. Dow futures still flat. S&P futures still flat. NASDAQ futures still flat. I don't remember a morning this flat. Like even on dead days, like August Fridays or like, you know, late December, you still have some action. We got squat today. Literally still. I mean, we started the show an hour ago. Literally still 0.0, 0.0, 0.0, all on the futures for Dow, S&P, and the NASDAQ. Bond futures inching slightly higher, not much. Gold flat, silver flat, copper. I mean, there is nothing happening in this market right now, which is, I mean, it's not really a signal of any kind. It's just kind of
Dollar's flat
interesting.
too, JC.
What's that?
Did you say dollar?
No,
flat.
makes perfect sense. Dollar flat, and then the old funny money. Let's just go quickly. Bitcoin down at 1,000 points, down to 45,200. Ethereum.
That's a big divergence.
Ethereum up 2%, and the Ethereum Bitcoin ratio up 4% on the day. 10% reversal for those who are interested in that sort of thing. Strazza is not. I am.
Do we have economic data out today?
I hope not.
No, I mean it's Wednesday, so no, we don't really. The only economic data we ever get on Wednesday is an FOMC announcement. But
So what's
No.
one whole talking about CPI? Two things that stood out to me in the forum this morning. U.S. mortgage applications up 10%
yeah,
start the year.
that's gonna happen.
I mean, dude, the housing market is just so resilient. It's a tough one. You know, rates tick down a tiny bit, and that anchoring bias brings people right back in because mortgage rates start to look a lot better than they did just a few weeks or a few months ago. The demand for new houses is just
Any kind of dip
off the charts.
in mortgage rates is going to cause a huge spike in applications. That's
Home
probably
builders
correct.
were right all along. How about that?
You
Home builders
want,
were
you
right
want
all
overhead
along.
supply or underneath demand, whatever you would call it. Holy crap! There's so much. So
Another one, just because, you know, we were just talking about this yesterday, so allow me to talk my book a little bit more. DraftKings just announced that starting tomorrow, they'll be launching their top-rated online sportsbook in Vermont.
Love
Whenever we
Vermont,
talk
man.
about, we got to see this story start to play out.
Vermont's great. Underrated.
Yeah, well, now they can use DraftKings too.
Vermont is
That's
a great
right.
state.
Vermont's cool. I'm into it.
Not
It's like a poor man's Colorado.
Not sure
you
how
know?
much they matter in terms of sports betting, but they're a great state nonetheless.
Some big cyber upgrades. Palo Alto, or I think price target hikes at Morgan. Palo Alto from 304 to 375. Fortinet or FTNT from 60 to 77. Net, which is Cloudflare that JC was just talking about, up to 66. Keep chasing these stocks. I don't know what this Amazon Salesforce news means.
There are a few random headlines out of CES as well. Walmart just announced that they're expanding their drone delivery operation to cover most of the Dallas-Fort Worth area.
If I ever get hit by one of these drones, I swear to God, I'm going to flip out.
What?
I mean, they're testing it a little bit at a
I'm just
time
saying, if one of
for
these
that
things ever
reason.
hits me, forget about it.
This is one of those things. I've been hearing about this for like 5 years now. Drone delivery. I think there was a whole thing on 60 Minutes about this like years ago.
Yeah, I don't know, man.
Haven't seen one.
They're very loud. They make a lot of noise. It's like,
They're really cool. My buddy has one. We were playing with it on the beach the other day. Really fun. They're awesome. Some of these really expensive drones are just crazy.
I'm going to get a baseball bat and just whack it.
Dude, they're big too.
Yeah, no. I don't like it.
Shut up.
I
John
feel like
Carlos,
I'm an old man. Like, I'm just like anti-progress here. I just don't
John
like
Car-
this one.
John Carlos got a sweet one.
Oh, I know. Brian Shannon's had drones forever. He's lost like a dozen of them.
Yeah, well, that happens.
Well, you got to get the insurance, obviously.
Dude, Brian Shannon goes skiing, and then he has that thing where the drone follows him. So the drone's following him as he's skiing down. And he's got the dog running down the slope as well. Like, there's
That's
a lot going on in Brian's afternoons.
That's really cool.
That is
I know.
that is cool.
The dog really loves the slopes. Some of
All
those
right,
videos are ridiculous.
let's look at the hot corner.
Yeah.
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 So hot right now.
Another cyber stock here with a target hike. This one from Citi. This is CyberArk from 215 to 265. And then, for the hot corner today, it's just that same theme. And I want to talk more about this. We'll do a Strazza spotlight. Biotech. Just keep coming for these biotechs, and it's impossible to ignore at this point. So really the standout transaction today, they hiked their stake. This is Biotechnology Value Fund from 8.5 to 10% in Chimera Therapeutics, KYMR. There's also
And look
a
at
big,
that.
Yep.
My old congressman, Josh Gottheimer, with the purchase.
They're always out here buying these aerospace and defense stocks, right? They hear stuff in their meetings. They're on whatever, like the defense committee. They have their inside information. Then they go buy these defense companies, right? They know they have information about government contracts, this and that. So that one stands out. Those are the stocks that I think it's okay to trust these politicians over.
Probably, right? if there is a group to trust the most, it's probably that group. But
like
also,
there might be some edge there, right? With the stuff that they probably get to hear.
It's no secret. These companies are in the business of government contracts. That's their business.
Yeah.
So,
they are quite the business.
So what's one more contract going to do? You know what I mean?
I'm with you. And then we also have two semiconductors. So there's a little bit of a theme there. The two middle names, really both semiconductors. Mobileye, I think you consider a semiconductor. That's ticker symbol MBLY, and that's a brand new position. So 6.2% stake for friends over at Millennium Management, long short equity fund based out of New York City, I believe.
So this TSAM, $3 billion Israeli semi. Like I said earlier, I'm into the Israeli tech companies.
What's that? What's that ETF? IZRL?
IZRL.
That's the ARK. That's the ARK Israel Tech ETF.
Yeah. There's another
one.
One
Man. Don't look that good.
No, it doesn't.
But there's individual components in there, right? So I think as a group, maybe they're getting some sympathy selling because of, what's happening out there, but there's some individual winners out there. And I think that really stands out.
Yeah.
Like the ones that are acting well, despite what's happening in the region. No.
Yep. No, I'm with you. Listen, there's always, some tech stock coming out of Israel looking good.
Yeah. You got some smart folks over there, it seems like. Every time Lindsay gets back from Israel, he's like, oh, my God. He's always telling me. I see it.
And, this Haran Therapeutics, if you look down the unusual options activity section of the table, trading at its highest level since like last May here. Looks like maybe working on a trend reversal. So interesting to see, the bullish call flow. And this one, again, that theme of biotechs really catching some interest here.
Yeah, throw up slide 2, sticking with this Israeli tech, Monday.com, another one. Throw up slide 2 there, Spencer. Monday.com. Good call out there, Brad. Yup, this is a favorite of the show for sure. Great example. Good call, Brad. Yup.
Ooh.
That was that anchor VWAP from the IPO.
Monday.com, huh?
Oh, yeah, you don't know this one? Yeah, you do. You know this one.
He has to. He listens to podcasts. They advertise on every podcast.
Do they?
Oh, yeah.
Every podcast? I listen to a lot of podcasts. I've never heard them advertise.
Everyone.
Really?
No.
Whose podcast? Don't we listen to kind of a lot of the same podcasts? Whose podcast?
Like maybe just NPR. I don't know.
Who the hell listens to NPR?
My podcast listening has really come down.
You listen to NPR for what?
NPR podcasts.
That's the worst thing I ever heard.
Get out of here.
Seriously, Spencer. We should put Spencer in timeout. Stick him in the bathroom. Put a cone on his head.
You guys make fun of me for reading the Wall Street Journal?
NPR?
How old are you? American Life, Planet Money? Come on. You guys don't know.
So Patrick and I decided we're going to go to the CES conference next year. JC, what do you think?
What is that?
Consumer Electronics Show.
And then where is that?
Vegas.
Oh, yeah, you and Patrick in Vegas together. Yeah, that'll end well.
What? I think it's a great idea. We should be there.
Yeah. All right. Well, go. I don't care.
All right, great.
Try to come back alive.
Hmm.
Nothing good happens after midnight.
I've been to Las Vegas in 13 years, 14 years.
Probably better that way.
Chat coming to my defense viciously with the NPR. You guys are off the mark on that one. All right. 9:31. Do we want to do the chart report quickly and then bring?
Yes, please.
Marion?
Yes. Hit
All right.
it.
So the chart report just had a nice, amazing redesign. It's not up on the web version yet, but just know if you get the chart report, the redesign is incredible. You should definitely check that out. But
Throw up the chart report because guess who is the chart of the day, but none other than the Fonz.
Oh,
Shout out Fonz.
Here we go.
How about the Fonz with the chart of the day? I see you, dog. I see you.
I mean, the man makes great charts. What
You learn from the best. What can I tell you?
My page. I have to refresh my page. Hold on.
How about this hot new TCR format? Hey now.
This is not it. This is not it.
Danny Jassie's been telling me about it for weeks. He's very proud. These
It looks good.
Types.
Yeah. The boys did good.
Listen, if Danny's happy, how bad could things be, right? Spencer, are we
All
going to
right,
show Fonz's chart
I'm
this
trying.
month?
I don't know what's happening with my browser.
This
No,
month.
You know, for doing this every morning, Spencer.
I keep the page open. I just refresh the page every day. I keep it open, and for some reason today the charts are not populating. Fonz's chart was so good.
Wells Fargo lifts the 2024 S&P 500 target range to 4,800 to 5,000. Previously, 4,600 to 4,800. Did you know that they do that? They make their forecasts and then they just change them throughout the year.
Yeah, that sounds right. There
No.
it is.
Ooh, wow. Biotechs. Look at that.
Cap-weighted biotechs. Zoom in there, Spencer. Give the people what they want. Look at that.
Oh, this is a good one. All right.
Good chart, Fonz. Good chart. Attaboy. Look at that. Grant Hockridge making the top 10.
Also, great charts.
Great charts. All right, so what are we looking here on Grant's chart here? We got 502 consecutive days since the S&P 500 made a new all-time high. Sixth largest weight for new highs. Data runs back to 1950. Interesting, the data runs back to 1950. The S&P 500 didn't come till 57, so. One of those like back, you know, right?
They like recreate them.
I know. I'm just kidding. JP Morgan, new all-time highs. Shout out Nautilus Research. You know, I spoke to these guys on the phone the other day.
Nautilus,
yeah.
good guys.
Yeah. I mean, listen, we've been fans of their charts for a long, long time. They're fans of our charts. Fun fact. So we homies. And they do nice work.
You know, JC, you're going to like this headline that just came through.
And why would I like it?
Wells Fargo cuts global financial sector to unfavorable from neutral. They just downgraded the whole financial sector.
The balls on these guys to have an opinion on other banks. The balls on these guys. Come on. Who are they to opine on anybody?
Meanwhile, we're over here long Wells Fargo.
Oh, hell yeah, we long Wells Fargo. Hey, it's just letters and math. But putting that aside, forget we are long Wells Fargo. It is working. Putting that aside, seriously, like, who are you to have an opinion on other banks? Like, you suck at everything.
You know, it seems like we continue to get more and more information, more and more new data that is making it very clear to us that two sectors that look very good right now are actually very hated from a sentiment perspective. It's not just financials, but it's healthcare also. right?
Look at this guy coming around to healthcare. You were one of the haters in healthcare. I feel like
I'm not going to
recently.
I'm not going to deny the positioning and sentiment data, though, right? It is what it is. And I think financials have a similar sentiment tailwind at their backs.
Yeah, no doubt. No doubt. Healthcare pushing up against new 52-week highs as we speak right now. How about that?
Meanwhile, JP Morgan's over here making new all-time highs.
No big deal. No
things
big
aren't
deal.
good. Things aren't good for financials. We just new post on the blog about JP Morgan. We're getting long.
What about the old Berkshire Hathaway pushing up against new all-time highs as well? Uncle Warren continuing to crush.
I want to talk about some insider stuff in the Strazza spotlight, and it's
okay.
Spotlight.
Spoiler alert: it's not going to be about Warren Buffett.
First of all, I love how Patrick includes Gary Gensler's tweet about the account being compromised in the top 10 tweets.
It's great.
Shout out, Gary G.
All right, Strazza spotlight, Steve.
Yeah, let's hit it.
All right.
Seriously, I think Strazza's got too good of a bumper. It's too good.
No, I think it's just right for me.
Too good.
I'm buying biotech.
You don't deserve something that good.
All right, I'm adding biotech exposure. Let's talk about which one I'm buying right now and why. This is a hot corner name. It's a hot corner theme. Baker Bros. Talk about it all the time. I love these guys. They're the best on the street.
Where are they based? Where are they based?
I don't know. They
Jersey?
only invest in biotechs. Probably Boston.
Probably Boston, right? Cambridge.
I have no idea. But they only invest in biotechs. They make very large, very concentrated bets in biotech. Before we get to Immunocar, throw up Seattle Genetics. This is just a great example of why we pay so much attention to what these guys are doing. Seattle Genetics just got taken out by Pfizer, I believe, at about $230 a share. Baker Bros owned almost a quarter of outstanding shares.
New York City, by the way.
What?
New York City, Baker Bros.
Market value of $10 billion, this position. It was over 50% of their portfolio. What happened to this position? They got liquidated. In their account, no more shares. It's cash now. They have $10 billion of cash. It's just happened over the past few weeks. That money is now dry powder for the biggest and best biotech investor on the street. And you better believe they're going to pump it right back into whatever holdings or whatever biotechs they have the most conviction about. So we went through, and just these guys made $9 billion in profit off of this trade. I mean, this was one of the greatest trades I've ever seen.
And they only have 23 billion AUM.
Yeah, right. So like I said, it was about half the fund. So now they have $10 billion in dry powder. What are they going to buy? Let's take a look. I took a look today or last night at Baker Bros' current holdings. So Beijing would be their largest, makes up about 26% of their portfolio. They own about 2.1 billion. Next is Insight, INCY, another 25% of their portfolio, over 2 billion. Then they have Acadia, Madrigal, BioMarin, and then a little on down the line, their 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8th largest holding, Immunocore, IMCR, which they've been active in recently. They only own $130 million of Immunocore right now. When you look at their other largest positions, for example, back to the top, they own 10% of Beijing's outstanding shares. They own 16% of INCY, 27% of Acadia, 11% of Madrigal. They only own 3% of the outstanding shares in Immunocore. See what I'm thinking there, JC?
I do.
That kind of stands out. They tend to take bigger positions than just 3% of outstanding shares. So
there's more coming?
Maybe it stands to reason that with this $10 billion of cash that they need to now deploy, maybe some of that goes into Immunocore.
And do they need to deploy it? Like, how does that work? How long could they sit in it? Shareholders will kind of, investors in their fund might get a little antsy, but do they trust them enough to sit in cash when they need to? How do you think that works?
So it's a good question, but this Seattle Genetics acquisition has been news for a long time, right? They've known for a long time that they were going to be made liquid on
And they
that.
probably knew
So
early on too.
I would hope that they're ready and already have a plan, right? It's probably just a matter of executing it and getting whatever price that they want. But I would think it probably gets put to work pretty quickly. You don't want half of your AUM sitting in cash, right? That can't work for too long. We got to do something with it. I think, anyway, if you throw up the IMCR chart, I think this is a great candidate to catch, more flows from Baker Bros. It's going to pump the stock for sure. It's already trading at all-time highs, trading near all-time highs also versus its biotech peers. You won't find many biotech stocks that look this good, right? So I get the insider potential tailwind from Baker Bros and them having position. That makes me feel really good. But then as a technician, I always have to go to the chart, and the chart needs to be right too. This one is really checking all the boxes. Absolute trend, relative trend, the inside activity. I really, really like IMCR. So I'm in. Let's go. Above 70. No?
I'm with
Nobody
you.
liked it?
I'm totally with you, bro. You know that what we've been talking about here is rotation into small caps. And when you look at the Russell 2000, what do you see? You see a lot of biotechnology stocks. You see a lot of regional banks. Too many, one might argue. Maybe not in the biotech because they're kind of saving the world. So that's cool. But for financials, probably too many banks. The Canadians are laughing at us. Canadians are, look at you, schmucks.
We have way too many banks.
No,
I agree.
Canadians do it right. Canadians do a lot of things right. Shout out Canada.
Shane Dog in the chat saying IMCR on a lot of biotech M&A target lists. That's what these guys do. That's what Baker Bros is known for. They buy biotechs that get bought out. They do it over and over and over again. So it doesn't surprise me at all. I think, expecting some sort of an acquisition or deal in the future makes sense because that's what their track record shows. That's how they tend to exit.
This Pinduo, why are they based in Ireland?
We've had this conversation before. I don't think anybody really knows.
Like, do they just want to like just have people forget that they're Chinese? How do you think this works? Like, are they ashamed of their Chinese heritage?
I don't know. I don't know.
No, that's a valid question.
What I do know is that Chinese stocks are so impressively terrible. There is a global bull market for equities, and China is just making new lows like day in and day out. So the ones that don't look terrible in China, Pinduoduo or Pinduoduo, PDD holdings now, at the top of that list of relative strength that really stands out. We want to keep it on our radar. We've been long making money on this one with China, the broader Chinese market being absolutely
Do you
terrible.
think it's because they hid the fact that they're Chinese so well that people don't get that sympathy selling with China? Is there something there, or is that too cute?
I don't think that's why.
Too cute.
You know that they say that the Cubans are the Irish of the Caribbean. You know that?
I don't know what that means.
I've heard this. I have heard this.
An Irishman named John Malloy told me that, and that counts. Like, that's serious Irish. John Malloy, come on.
Oh yeah,
that counts. Yeah. Shout out John Malloy, by the way.
All right, we have Mary here. You want to bring? Let's bring Mary on.
Mary's still on cloud 9.
Oh yeah,
bring her on.
Damn, forgot to flip the video again. Sorry, Mary.
Sorry, that's all right. Thank you.
Well done, Mary. Well done, Mary. MVP of the team so far in 2024, going to the Rose Bowl. Amazing game. I mean, you're on fire. Just call it a year. You're good.
Right? I mean, it's been a fun year so far. Yeah, Rose Bowl took my son, whose birthday was on January 2nd. He went out with my husband and I and did the Rose Bowl. And I mean, it was epic, you guys. There's a picture. So there we are. And I've never been to a game, and I've been to a lot of games. I've been to the Big House many times. I've never been to a game that was so loud. Everyone was on their feet the entire time. Every play, everyone was just screaming.
That was the national championship game.
Honestly, yeah.
And we knew it going in. Like, everybody knew it. Like, that was the championship.
Yeah. So to beat Alabama and to do it at the Rose Bowl and to be there, I mean, it was epic.
And then what about your other kids? I was talking to Brett the other day. He's like, yeah, we've been trying to, talk the other kids off the ledge that didn't get to go to the game. How do you work that out?
So, the other two, they just don't really care so much about football and sports. And he's our sports kid. So it just made sense. And it was his birthday on January 2nd. And we felt like horrible to leave and not be celebrating his birthday on his birthday. So the other two, stayed with Carrie and Brett. And, we swapped the dog sitting with the kids sitting. And they were okay with it. I think they watched the game. But I think my son was doing other things most of the time anyway, because he just doesn't care. So I wasn't going to spend the money to fly those kids out there and pay for the tickets when they just don't care.
Good for you, Mary. Good for you. So Mary, shout out. Okay, back to markets. Mary consumes more All-Star Charts research than anyone on planet Earth. Number one consumer right here. And you tend to do pretty well with those with that research. So why don't you tell us and also I really like Mary's perspective, right, Strazza? Because she consumes so much. I'm always interested in what Mary's interested in, right? Because we have our thing, Strazza has his, Spencer with his problems with the SPACs and the shit coins. Like we all have our things. What about you, Mary?
Spencer,
what stands out?
You could learn a lot. You could learn a lot from Mary, Spencer. Mary's sending me charts, dropping VWAPs, at pivot highs, talking about jumping entries.
No.
I love it. So what's on your radar today?
Well, I love that you talked about Immunocore. So that was on my list. We talked about that one last night. And it's just, was it on Twitter Spaces yesterday that you were kind of giving that whole conversation? I mean, that's what put it on my list, honestly, because
I just gave the same spiel I gave.
I was trying to remember, where did I hear this from before? So we started talking about biotechs a few weeks ago. JC put out a tweet a month or two ago, back when we were down at that 65 XBI 65 level. I got in at that support and rode that all the way up to the swing high VWAP, the all-time high VWAP. I got out right at the end of the year just because, I had a nice gain and I was going on vacation. So I got out, but I've been looking for
XBI.
XBI. Yep. So I've been looking for a chance to get back into biotechs. And when you started talking about this one yesterday, I mean, it was just a no-brainer. I'm in. So, there's the Immunocore. I mean, you've already talked about it, so we don't need to dwell on that one. I have been watching AMD. I talk about AMD a lot, only because I like the semiconductor space. And again, the VWAPs, if you put, again, just that high, that most recent high, we blasted through that anchored VWAP from the high just from, when did we make that high? Just at the end of November. And we blasted through it just the other day. At the end of December. 2
days ago.
Yeah, sorry about that. Getting my months mixed up. But we blasted through it. I got back in and, you follow the good trades, you follow where the strength is, and AMD has continued to be a great winner for me. That one always is appearing on our Hall of Famers list on All-Star Charts Premium. And so it's just one that I trade often and frequently. Yep.
It's a good trading. It's a good stock for trading too.
Yep. So whenever we're in the middle of these ranges, that's where I often will use the anchored VWAPs and find better entries and exits and kind of identify my risk levels that way instead.
It's the best tool that we have to kind of find an entry when a stock is in between our risk levels.
Yep. I like it.
Right.
Yep.
And there's no clear pattern or no clear short-term pattern, ideally, then VWAP is really all you have.
Yep. Next up, when I was last on, I was asking about financials, and you guys have been talking about KeyCorp, and so this is one that I got involved with right at the end of the year as well, because we've been talking about we don't have enough exposure to financials, and so this one again, it's just you've got the all-time high VWAP. It was kind of chopping around that. I think it's around 14-ish. Level. And, we've had flag after flag after pennant after flag. And, I think this one, like you guys all have been saying the last few days, resolves in the direction of the trend, which is higher.
And speaking of VWAP, that little blue dotted line coming in right at the upper bounds of the current coil, that's the VWAP from the prior cycle high.
Yep.
So big level. We got a resolution of this little flag here. We're in this little gap zone. I'm expecting a pretty big move.
Yep, me too. So let's fingers crossed. And then next up, I've got DraftKings, which I know you were talking about here again in the last couple of days. It's just a stock that I like. This one comes from our 2 to 100 club, which is a place where I like to go fishing a lot because they're the companies that we're looking to be the next big thing. And, you know, this gambling and online gambling kind of phenomenon, I think there's still a lot of runway for that to go. And this, you know, is a great vehicle to express that thesis. And, you know, we came back in and are right around this 34 level. It's just had a nice, I've watched this one a lot. I've been in and out of it a lot. It just has nice movement. And I see on the dailies, the MACD's curling. I feel like we've probably put in the bottom and we're headed back up.
Yeah, and we have a clean level here, and the market continues to tell us this 34 and change level is important, right? Like, you can see the pivot highs from last summer, you can see the pivot lows from just the past few months. You know, it's really yesterday's closing price too. We could, you know, close at a new high here, new short-term high above this 34.50 level. I think you can add to this one, or just, you know, buy it right here.
Yep.
Enter a new position.
Yeah, I added to this one yesterday, actually. Still holding a big chunk of the position from earlier in the year. And still, I just, like I said, the thesis is I like where this one's going. And to your point, the story that it's kind of creating. And so I added to this one just yesterday. So I think, yeah, you can easily get into this one still. And risk reward is, I think, in your favor. And then lastly, the other chart that I brought was an Amazon chart. I feel like I talk about this one fairly frequently.
It looks great.
Yeah, right? So again, another one of our Hall of Famers from All-Star Charts Premium. And I've traded this one a number of times back at the beginning of the year, got in this, took it up to those previous 22 highs and got out because that was kind of my target, you know, like hit my target, feed the ducks, be done. And then I kind of watched it chop around right at that let's call it 145-ish for a few weeks. And I thought, this is consolidating nicely. So got back in, we started to move, came back in the last week or two to kind of recheck in at that level. And we're still, you know, it still looks good to me. And so I think there's still a chance that place to get in and risk reward is still in your favor. I think eventually we get back up to those all-time highs.
Outside of Apple, these Mag 7 stocks continue to look really, really, really good on absolute terms, right? Like, take Apple out of the equation. Talking about NVIDIA yesterday. JC wrote a post about it. Here's Amazon. What a clean level. Look at Meta today. Right? Facebook looks so good. It's going for those
communications outperforming in this environment. You know, when you talk about like a, you know, quote unquote defensive rotation, all these things, we're not seeing that at all.
I mean, look at Microsoft too. It looks like this little multi-month coil here. Looks like it's going now. So stocks keep working.
So that's what I brought today.
I like it, Mary. I'm always interested in your perspective because it's very different than ours. You know, we're a little jaded over here.
No.
You jaded? No.
Me?
Well, you definitely, but I'm just saying, just generally speaking.
Mary, we'll see you in person in a couple of weeks for the New York event for our Portfolio Accelerator program. This is the same program that allows people to get access to our weekly analyst meeting calls that are internal only, open to a handful of people. If you want to know how you can get access, best way is probably to either call Mary. I'll put the number on the screen there. I'll also drop the link on the screen as well after in a second.
That's going to be a lot of fun. I'm really looking forward to that a lot.
Me too.
Yep. That's going to be awesome.
Yep. So the number's on the screen. If you want to join the program, there's the link as well. It's portfolioaccelerator.com/apply. We don't advertise it much. It's somewhat exclusive, pretty small group, but it is there. And if joining us and joining our weekly internal meetings interests you, then that's where I'd go to check it out.
We got one today. We got one today. Looking forward to that.
Today we actually have two. We have the meeting today, and then we have the monthly town hall as well.
Love it. Oh, wow. Love it.
I really hope New York City is ready for us. You know.
Yeah.
I always worry about that.
New York City is ready for anything, my friend. This isn't Connecticut, bro.
JC loves New York City. So
I do
much.
love New York City. It's the best city in the world.
Loves New York City.
I do.
I'm still waiting for my pizza, by the way.
We'll get you
JC
some pizza. You're gonna eat too much pizza. How about that?
Sounds good. Perfect.
JC gets downright giddy when he's going to New York City.
I like New York. New York treats me.
So
New York treats me well. You know, and New York's not for everybody. Most people can't handle it. I went in there and I ran shit, so I handled it pretty well.
Right. Uh-huh.
All right.
Anyway.
All right. Time for recess.
Me too.
My New Year's resolution, 2 of them, drink less Italian wine, right? Focus more on the Iberian Peninsula this year, as we've discussed, and eat more tacos. It was my New Year's resolution a couple of years ago to eat more tacos, and then I got, I was hardcore, and then I kind of got away from it last year, and it's my fault. No fault. It's my fault. And I'm back, baby. Taco Tuesdays. Last night was awesome. I made got some steak tacos, extra onions, a little cilantro. Woo! It was I made al pastor tacos, for those familiar with Lebanese Mexican cuisine.
Are you a fan of birria tacos? I had those the other night. Doesn't do it for you?
No,
Right.
I go healthy tacos. I got these like 1 gram of carb tacos that I get that are made out of sunflower seed flour. So they're
Okay.
good. So it's just a lot of protein, a lot of onions. My breath is terrible after that. Just ask my wife. Yeah. Anyway, more tacos.
Are tacos your favorite food?
No, pizza. Pizza, ribeyes, and uni.
That's a good list. Good list. All right, what do you got, Spencer?
My recess, forgot about this yesterday. Happy anniversary to the unveiling of the iPhone, which was first unveiled on January 9th, 2007.
At CES. At CES, right?
CES, January 9th, 2007.
Wow.
It didn't go on sale then, but that's when Steve Jobs gave his famous presentation, which if you want to watch, I highly recommend. It is on YouTube. It is a great watch. We don't want no stylist. We don't need a stylist.
Yeah, absolutely. Famous presentation that he gave.
Yep.
That's why, in all seriousness, I think it would be just a fantastic conference. What an experience to go to, particularly right now, because there's so much exciting stuff going on with AI. Anyway.
Yeah, that's all I got. And yeah, that's it. We had a crazy rainstorm here last night. We had a lot of flooding around us, some power outages. I just lost power. You guys didn't even know. I just lost power 5 minutes ago, but I'm back. So
you lost power? You got a backup?
Yeah, no, I don't know. It just came back on. No clue.
Awesome. That's awesome. Throw up my uranium energy.
Big rainstorm. Agreed. I had to go out and get some laxatives for the 1-year-old last night at Rite Aid. Dude, the flooding, because all the snow was melting too. So it's crazy flooding, and even the cops were like avoiding it. And I was in my Denali, like, I was such a proud dad moment, going to get some laxatives for the kid in the Denali, like, everybody out of the way.
That's
solid.
Oh, God.
Wonderful. Steve, what is this?
UEC, Uranium Energy Corp. Larry just kind of gave me this idea to kind of show this one. We've been watching this base for so long, watching it shape up, similar to Cameco, but this one's literally breaking out to new all-time highs right now. Uranium Energy Corp, UEC, above 7. This is my favorite uranium vehicle.
All right. Mary, you got anything?
Yeah. Do you have my picture of the stadium? So obviously I was going to probably talk about the Rose Bowl,
Oh, yeah.
but we already did that. There was a really cool shot that was taken. So it was actually a West Michigan native flew out to the Rose Bowl and got a helicopter. Wow. And then as the Star Spangled Banner was playing, a stealth bomber flew low over the stadium. Yep. The helicopter was right above and got this shot down on the stadium, which I thought was really, really cool. And so, yeah, really cool. So shout out to Michigan Sky Media for the photo credit. And this has been circulating social media. I've seen it all doctored and everything to like yellow and red for Michigan. And all photoshopped. It didn't look like that at all.
I love it. I love it when they do this at the beginning of football games.
Oh,
At Giant Stadium, I mean, they always have like the Blue Angels fly over right after you're done singing the national
It's the
anthem.
most exciting part of the game for the Giants fans.
I get chills. Get chills every time.
So this was
cool.
actually the second time we saw this plane, because we were also at the Rose Parade that morning, and it came out of nowhere. No one expected it. It was super low. It was lower than it was at the stadium. Yeah, super loud, just buzzed the entire parade route, and we had no idea it was coming. And then, of course, there was lots of chatter. Oh, yeah, it's going to be at the game. So we knew that time at the game that it was coming and got all kinds of video and stuff. So it was really cool. But that shot, really neat to get.
You have to do a double take, right? One's for the plane and one's for the sound, right?
It's very true. Yeah.
Yeah, very cool. Cool. All right. So it's Wednesday. So for those people in our portfolio accelerator program, we'll see you for our meeting in a couple hours. For the rest of you, we got Hot Corner with Strazza at why am I blanking?
1 o'clock.
Dear Lord, holy cow. So we'll see you there.
Holy cow.
See you there for that. And that's it. Thanks to Larry Thompson. Thanks to all you for hanging out. Hit the like button. Thank you very much. And we'll see you later.
Happy Hump Day.
Hump
Happy
day.
Go make some money.
Go make some
Adios.
money.
Hump day.
Run it. I can't take no loss. I don't even know what it costs.